Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US. And I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class and also to clear my throat before I actually went live. Sorry about that. I forgot to shut off the mic. Anyways, it is Wednesday, February 12th, 2025 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. And a big hello to all of you. A big hello to those of you that keep coming back to my channel. I appreciate you so much. And a big welcome to those of you that are new. I hope you stick around and see what I have to share. We also want to say hello to Lisa Marshall and Trisha Josephs. Trisha is on YouTube. She is there to answer questions because after the live is done, I can't actually go into the comment section and reply to people. So she is me. She answers questions there. And Lisa does the same thing on Facebook. We are so appreciative of you guys. So thank you so much for coming on the lives with us each and every week. I am going to feature my stamp set called Layering Leaves. I call it my stamp set because I helped to design it. When I reached a milestone in sales, I was able to design a stamp set, and it's called Layering Leaves. It's my favorite, obviously, and I hope it's one of your favorite. I keep bringing it back because I don't know, it's a go-to stamp set. It's great for kits because you can always add sentiments, extra sentiments when you're doing kit alternatives, and that's something that I love to do. And it also has leaf images that coordinate with one of our leaf punches. You can add leaves to anything. So it's an awesome stamp set to supplement what you're creating or to just have as the main feature. Now we're going to tie this stamp set into another stamp set that debuted in the annual catalog. It's called Leaf Collection. It is similar in style as far as like solid leaf images. There's some really cool leaves that are in this background stamp that just kind of like scream coordination with layering leaf stamp sets. So we're going to tie them together and make a card today. So I'm bringing some stamp sets from the annual catalog into play today. We're not playing with anything that's new and upcoming or that just debuted. We're going to go back in time a little bit because sometimes it's fun to revisit those stamp sets that have been around for a few months, and that's what we're going to do. So I hope that you appreciate what I have to share. We're going to do some techniques, simple techniques with this. This is a card that a beginner could do if they have the pieces for it, the parts and pieces, the tools, like the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for embossing a background layer. Now you could avoid that and just have a solid background layer. You wouldn't have to do this. Another tool that is important to have if you're going to do this is a positioning kind of tool, because the background stamp, and most background stamps, especially ones that have very solid images, thick solid type imagery, you need to stamp it more than once. And so if you have a positioner type of tool, you can ink it, stamp it, re-ink it, stamp it, re-ink it, stamp it until you have a nice solid image. And I'll be demonstrating that for you. So we're going to do some background building techniques. And what else do I want to mention before we get started? I'm looking at my notes above here. Okay, I think that's it. I do want to mention, and I'm going to bring you over to my blog post to show you that my post connected to this video will go live on my website. I put my website up there a little bit ago, stampyourartout.com. It will go live at 12:15 p.m. Central Time, which is just a little over an hour from now. So right now, the link is in the description of the YouTube video. And when I'm done with the live, I will be able to transfer it over into the Facebook video description so that those of you that are watching on Facebook can also find it easily. But you're going to go over to my website here at stampyourartout.com. You're going to scroll, and it should appear down here as one of the choices. You'll see an image of it. This is the last post that I did on the 10th, but the 12th will show up today. Okay, so stampyourartout.com. Also, let us bring this PDF in. This is something, oops, wrong thing. Hang on. Oh, that's too funny. You guys can see, you can see my background. I pulled up something and then got rid of it. Where did it go? Hang on, got to pull it back up. That's the back, like the backstage stuff. Ooh, you guys got to see that. Hang on, let me find it here. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay. There's bound to be a glitch in every live broadcast, just so you know. So watch them because they're funny and they make you laugh. So here's the PDF. This is something that you can print off when you get to my blog post that will go live again at 12:15 p.m., a little over an hour from now. And you can print this off and put it into like a binder, or you can just download it onto your computer and save it. It has the date at the top, the title at the top. It has measurements, supplies, all of that good stuff, and of course photos of the finished card. So now you have a little peek at what we're gonna make. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to, let's just make sure I've covered all of that. Oh, we're moving on to demonstration. Yay! Okay, so let's move to the desktop. And I'm going to put something on my computer so I can follow it as we go. Wasn't that fun? It was kind of like being in the Wizard of Oz and seeing the man behind the Oz, right? All right, pay attention to the, I love it. Debbie just said the same thing I was thinking. That's so funny, Debbie. Pay no attention to the man behind the screen. This is the stamp set that I'm going to feature today, Layering Leaves, and this is its partner stamp set called Leaf Collection. So you can see how there are some similar type of imagery. We've got the solid stamp here. We've got a line going through it and that sort of thing. Now, if you haven't followed my blog, my website, me, and what I post, and maybe you're new to watching me, I do want to tell you that I really am obsessed with this stamp set. So you can see some cards that I've created and shared over the last year and a half using this stamp set. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration. You can even think outside the box and turn the leaf petals into flowers. You can turn them into carrots. You can punch with the punch and make it into a bunny, bunny ears, bunny tail. You can turn the leaves into candle flames. So there's a lot that you can do. This is the card that you'll see right away when you go to my blog post in one of the featured cards at the top. So yeah, I'm obsessed. All right, layering leaves. Let's start with the leaf collection though, and let's bring in the stamp positioner that Stampin' Up! Used to carry. This is the Stamparatus. We no longer carry it due to some issues with other products that are out there. I'll just say that. But there are other products that are out there that you may certainly purchase that are called stamp positioners. Before we begin working with our background stamp, I'm going to show you the base products that you're going to need, the consumable parts, okay? Oh, thank you so much. Sandy said that. Oh, you're so great. Thank you. Thanks, Carol. Oh my gosh, it's fun to see chime in too. You're going to need envelopes. We have medium-sized envelopes. These are great for the cards that Stampin' Up! Creates. We can purchase all of these products that I'm sharing, by the way, in my online store. You just go to stampyourartout.com and you're going to click on shop. Any shop button that's associated with my social media or my blog or whatever, you can link your order to me. Now, if you're a demonstrator, order from yourself, or if you have a demonstrator, order from them, share the love. We're going to use white cardstock. We have basic white in the thick, and we have basic white in the regular. Now, the difference, one feels sturdier, okay? It doesn't bend as easily. It feels thicker. We don't have the weights of our cardstock. Stampin' Up! Doesn't share that anymore because there's slight variations every time they produce a pack of cardstock, right? Or a lot of cardstock. So they don't share the actual weight because of that, but there is a difference. And I tend to choose the thicker one for card bases, and this one when I'm just doing layers. We're just going to do the thick for now, and we'll focus in on that for the whole card. But you can certainly use the other. All right, so we're going to need that because we want to cut our base. We also need some layers. Let's cut our base first, and then I'll talk about the other measurements. So you're going to bring in your trimmer. This is our Stampin' Trimmer, and it is amazing. It has an extendable arm on it. It has blades that work. It's got measurements that are in metric and imperial. And then if you're purchasing in the US, you're going to get imperial along here. Although you can get, I think, a replacement arm for the metric if you choose. We're going to cut our card stock, which is 8.5 by 11, and we're going to cut it to 5.5 in this direction, which is half of 11. I'm using the dark blade to cut, and I'm positioning my cardstock up here where there's a flat edge. Now I'm going to rotate this piece, and I'm going to turn it, and we're going to put it in here at 4.25. So that's half of 8.5, and I'm going to use the lighter blade. The lighter blade is my scoring blade. So again, I'm going to push the cardstock up to the top, Make sure it's nice and flat and lined up. Bring this edge to the 4 1/4 mark, and I'm going to press and push. I like to push when I cut or score. If you're going to go down here and use these measurements, you could pull to cut or score, whatever you like, but I recommend going in one direction for a main reason. The main reason is basically because you're going to wear out your cutting blade over time. It's going to get dull because it's pressing against the paper. It's like doing friction against the paper, right? It's not like a rolling paper cutter where you have the circular blade that kind of dives into it, right? This presses and causes more friction, this type of cutter. And so you're going to need to replace your blade. Now, when my blades get rough, and I could see that because the cardstock is starting to get frayed, I take and I bring it out of the end down here, I turn it around, and I put it back in, and then my blade is fresh again and ready to go. So I want to wear out my blade in one direction first, and then I can use it in the other direction for the same amount of time on the other side. And then how do I know that I've used both sides? Well, I tend to mark it with a little Sharpie marker. Once I've marked it, I know that I've used the blade that is not going in that direction, okay? All right, let's put that aside. Let's pull in our cardstock piece, and I don't know where to put this. I'll put it back here. All right, these are the pieces you need. You need 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 inch cardstock scored at 4 1/4. We'll just give that a good crease with the bone folder, have that ready to go. That's our base. Then we need, a piece that is slightly smaller. Actually, I'm going to pull this back in. You need a piece that is slightly smaller. So it's an 1/8 of an inch difference in the two different directions. So it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that's going to be our embossed layer. So I'm going to put that with the beautiful Soft Waves embossing folder. We'll emboss that. And then you're going to need a smaller piece. The smaller piece is actually half of this. But if you're going to be making tons of cards like this, which is what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to show you that you can take a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, or bigger if you want to, so that you have something to hold on to or use the magnet with if you're using the old stampyourartout. But I'm going to show you with just a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, so we don't have waste on this side, how to stamp 2 layers at the same time. So I'm keeping this connected. Otherwise, the piece would be 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so right now it's 4 1/4 in this direction, but it's 5 1/2. So it's a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. Let's just put that with my stamp positioner. You're going to need shaded spruce because of the color combination that I'm using on the leaves. So I'm going to use the Summer Splash and the Lemon Lolly on the leaves, which somehow worked really well with shaded spruce for a darker version of the Summer Splash. So we're using Summer Splash for a cardstock layer and for some leaves. And then we're also going to have a 2-inch circle that was punched with our 2-inch circle punch. Okay, we have lots of different, well, not lots, but a few different circle punches. And then we're going to use the bow punch, which coordinates with the layering leaves stamp set. The last consumable is this beautiful brushed foil cardstock that comes with gold and silver. There are 3 sheets per pack. So there's a nice bright yellowy gold, and there's a nice shiny bright silver, and it has like a texture going through it, as you can see. So we'll be using that, which I've already prepared, so I don't have a small scrap of it, but you just need a small scrap, okay? All right, let us work with this piece first. We're gonna take our stamp, and I'm gonna lay my little box here underneath it. Again, if you have this stamp positioner, great. It is now gone. It's not something that Stampin' Up! Sells anymore, so sorry about that. But again, there are others on the market, and you can shop for a stamp positioner. Okay, what I'm gonna do is take like a non-permanent adhesive. You could take and put little dots of multi-purpose liquid glue, let them dry, and then you'll have like a tacky surface. This is quicker for me. It's Herma Transfer, and you can take and purchase that from my favorite extras in my on my website. So if you go to stampyourartout.com again, and you go to shop, and then you go down to my favorite extras, you're going to see the Herma adhesive. Okay. All right. So now that we've set this up, we have our paper down here. We have it lined up with our stamp. And you can look for past videos on how to do all of that. So I've already lined it up. I've got my pencil marks on here on my little grid paper that we no longer sell. I just have to show you this card though. It's so cool. And I don't have another stamp positioner yet because I'm in love with the Stamperettas. Summer Splash. I've opened it up so that we have the whole pad exposed. You can see it's a raised, can you see that? It's a raised pad. So when I stamp on a large stamp with it, the sides of the ink pads do not get affected. And I really juiced this up last night, so we might be able to get it with one run. We'll see. I apologize to a couple of you who have sent me gifts. I cannot find them right now because we stopped using the positioner for a while, and I must have packed them away somewhere. But there's a tool out there, and a couple of you have sent me this tool. There's a tool out there that you can take and press along the top of your stamp when you're stamping with a large stamp like this. I decided to take one of these little things that you clean glasses or electronic devices with and wrap it around my AirPod case. And I'm just going to press. That'll help to give kind of an even pressure, and it gives me a little bit of stability. And again, I'm sorry for those of you, there are 2 of you that sent me one and I can't find them. I looked last night. So there we have our stamped presentation, and you can see there's some missing spots here. So I can come back in and I can press and see if that filled it in. It's still not as solid and deep colored as I want, so I will do one more layer. So we're going to ink this up again and just tap, tap, tap. Don't have to press too hard with our pads, by the way, because they are very spongy. Okay. All right, let's press again. By the way, I figured out that suitcase box from last week. Do you guys remember? I was playing around with it. I figured it out. It was like a simple thing, but I just didn't know. So that looks really good. I'm going to get that spot maybe a little bit more. See if we have any ink left on there. That looks good. Okay, now I'm going to take this off. Remember, I have the marked lines in here so I know where to set it again. But I just want to take that off for now because I'm going to use, if I have it ready, I tell you that cleanup pad, where did it go? I have it in here somewhere. This guy. These take a while to get moist. So I have it in a container, hoping that it is, yeah, it's still very stiff. Okay, we're gonna use paper towel. I should have moistened it like a half hour before instead of 15 minutes before. So I'm just gonna take a paper towel and use my Stampin' Mist cleaner because we're gonna change colors, all right? Thank you so much, Mary. I see that Mary just became a member of my channel. You can become a member of my channel and get extra perks like using special emojis during the live. You have access to that and no one else does. You have a little rhinestone next to your name. You get to have, if you are a supporter member, you get to have a live that's different from any other live that I do. And it is usually at the end of each month. So you have a special live just for you. And, oh gosh, what else? Tell me, you guys. Oh, priority, reply, and comments. Okay, I'm just going to do this one more time. And then we're going to bring in the other cleanup pad because that will get down into the grooves. This is kind of getting off the surface color. And now, without removing it from my clear thing here, I'm just going to take and bring it into my scrubbing pad here, and we're gonna try to scrub it clean. Here, I know what I'll do. I'll go like this. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll take it out of here. Yeah, I was really hoping that my chamois would have gotten moist by now because that would have been good. Okay. Oh, this is good, you guys. We're getting down into the grooves and we're drying off all that moisture from the Stampin' Mist. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, I really scrubbed hard on that one. That looks pretty good. All right, now let's bring in this again, set it up, and we're on to the next color. So the next color, And you would probably, if you're doing this, you'd probably want to do the light color first, but I started with the dark color because I wasn't thinking. So let's just pray that we don't get any shaded spruce on this beautiful, beautiful light pad. In fact, let's just do this. Let's take some paper and do a little testing here. Yeah, it's clean. Okay, now we're ready to start now. Rachel's making a mess today, you guys. Got some hairs in there. The hairs from the Stampin' Scrub because I pressed so hard. Okay, now we're ready for the yellow. Now when I did the greenish color, which is actually more of a bluish color, I guess, Summer Splash, I had it positioned like this, right? Do you remember that? We're gonna flip it. We're gonna go this way and tack it down. A little bit more yellow. And I do see another little hair there. Keeping it looking good. One more. All right, where did my rag go? Wipe it on the pants. All right. Oh, Rebecca's asking why I'm not using the magnets. Again, I'm using a quarter sheet of cardstock. I didn't really explain this well, did I? I'm using a quarter sheet of cardstock to make the most use of my cardstock. I could make it larger and have a magnet over here, but the stamp fits a quarter sheet of cardstock, and that's what I wanted to use up without having excess waste over here. You'd have to have an extra little part of cardstock coming out that you would put your magnet onto, because if your magnet is right here, it's going to prevent the stamp from stamping correctly. So instead I used a temporary adhesive. But yes, I do have the magnets. I'm just choosing not to use them. That was a great question, and thank you for asking it because I don't think I explained myself well earlier. Okay, you like where this is going? Yeah, so take a background stamp and stamp it once and then flip it. That's basically a technique, right? Let's just make it look a little different. Make it look like it's layered leaves in a forest or something. And I have the yellow leaves because I'm picturing them further back, although I'm stamping them on top. So who knows what this will look like, because I think I did my original with the yellow first, and then I did the Summer Splash on top. But the idea is to make it look like those leaves are further back and the sun is shining on them and that kind of thing, okay? You keep yours cut in half in moist and baggy. So here's the thing with that too. I heard, and I'm not like real smart about the chamois because I don't use it very much, but I heard that then you can get mold if you keep it moist. So I dry mine out every time. And then I get frustrated because it takes so long to get wet. But that's what I heard. Tell me if I'm wrong. For those of you that use the chamois, have any of you gotten mold on your chamois for letting it stay moist, okay? Oh, it's so pretty, you guys. Oh my gosh. That's exactly the look that I wanted. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to put this down, put this out of the way. We have our Summer Splash and our Lemon Lolly used, and I'm going to put them away. I'm going to put my leaf collection thing away. The catch-all table, right? Isn't that what we call it? Let's bring in the leaf, and we're going to cut our cards. We need our paper trimmer again. Here it is. We're going to cut our layer down in half at 2 3/4 inches. Okay, so now we have one for one card, one for another. And by the way, when it dries, it gets a little bit lighter, just so you know. Shutting drawers back there. Okay. Alrighty. We're gonna, oh, you know what? Hang on. I'm bringing this in because then we can just ignore the back table for the rest of the time. So let me bring this in. This is our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I can also zoom in too. Our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, otherwise known as the Big Boss, because we have a mini version of this called the Mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So that's the Mini Boss, this is the Big Boss. We've got our large plate, which comes with it. It also comes with 2 cutting plates. It comes with a die adapter plate, and it comes with a gray plate for using with your 3D embossing folders. If you are having trouble with 3D embossing folders and you're using like the Sizzix Big Shot or things like that, you might have to do a little bit of sandwich adjusting. I had somebody post in our Stamp Your Art Out group on Facebook that they were having trouble. It could be that you just don't have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and maybe there's a slight variation. So try working with shims. I think Lisa Marshall chimed in on that one day. Just try working with shims, which is basically sheets of cardstock or paper or chipboard, or even, you know, just to kind of play around with it. But of my 2 machines, the 3D embossing folders work great with the recommended folders. So we're going to use the Soft Waves embossing folder. And it looks like this. It's amazing. It's so cool. Like you get waves. And we're going to take that paper, which I said I was going to set aside. You can turn it in either direction, but I think horizontal waves look really great. So we're going to set it in there. Okay, next, we're going to put it in seam first. This is the opening side, this is the seam. We're going to set it onto our base plate, put our gray plate on top, line up everything, make sure as it's entering, it's staying lined up. And you might have to have just a little bit of a bump to go over when you first start, but then it should work, and you just crank it through. Now we have, and this is so cool, you guys. I just love embossing. Da, 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 da. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. It makes me want to sing joyous tunes. All right, we're ready to roll. Let us assemble. Oh, we gotta do some leaves. Hang on, we're not quite ready yet. Okay, we have that piece ready. We have the base, we have that layer, whichever one we want to choose. We have, because they're both different, as you can see. One is from one side, one's from the other, and one's dry and one's not completely dry, but it doesn't matter. We have a couple of our pre-cut leaves, and let's stamp and cut some other leaves. Let's zoom in a bit. Okay, for this and for the sentiment, we're going to use shaded spruce ink, which I think, again, pairs really nicely with our layers. All right, we'll just take the one we did. Why not? You know what I was going to do? I was going to check to see, can you see on this one how it looks like the yellow is on top of the blue? I thought that was a pretty cool effect. So if you want your yellow to be behind, although you can kind of see the yellow coming through on this one too. Anyways, just kind of fun. All right, so let's stamp. We have our stamp ready to go. Here it is over here. Okay, so we're going to ink that up. It's a well-loved stamp. I have loved it up because you can tell because it's not totally clear anymore. It has kind of a tinted color to it. Okay, we'll stamp that down once. We'll do it again. In fact, let's just do it in this direction since I am right-handed, and I will hold my punch with my right hand. So we have a 1 1/4 by, I believe it's about 4.5 inches long. So 1 1/4 by about 4.5 inches. You could go a little shorter, maybe even 4 inches. You're going to take your punch, unlock it, have it upside down, slide your paper in. And again, I'm right-handed, so I will punch with my right hand and I will hold my paper with my left. If you have this thin of paper, 1 1/4 inches high, and you tilt your stamp when you stamp it, you're going to avoid punching extra paper that you don't need. You can see that maybe just a little bit of that top punched section gets cut out from here. Flip it around. Again, because I'm right-handed, that's why I flip the image around. You're going to line up your punch and punch it, or line up your stamp and punch it out. So now we have our 2 leaves that are green, that are stamped, and our 2 leaves that are gold. Where's my garbage? There it is. Okay, and then you can stamp a sentiment. You can do hello. You could do, what are the other ones here? You could do thinking of you. You could do So happy to celebrate you. That stamp also fits into the 2-inch circle. So those are ones thinking of you, hello, so happy to celebrate you, and best wishes actually fits into the 2-inch circle size also. Sending hugs and thank you so much have to be a little bit bigger. So you'd have to do maybe like the 2 and 3/8-inch circle punch. This one fits in our smaller one and looks really good on the 1 3/4-inch circle punch. So those are our 3 circle punches, and that's the punches I'd recommend for those sentiments. Let's set these aside. Let's move to putting our card together. All right, let's bring in our tools. We have a bone folder, a marker. Why do we need a marker? A snips, take your pick tool, some seal, some multi-purpose liquid glue that I've transferred into a precision tip bottle, dimensionals. Can you see all of them? Sorry. And then we have some embellishments. Let's get to accenting our card pieces. So I'm going to take our, I think I'm going to do it on this one. So my first card doesn't have this technique, the one that I shared with you in a photograph on the PDF. This is the finished card. Okay, we're going to assemble this. This does not have the marker technique on it that I'm going to share with you. But markers are a big deal right now because if you get the starter kit, you get to choose from 4 families of markers. You could do the brights, the regals, the subtles, or the neutrals for free in a starter kit. I'm using a marker not from either one of those or any one of those, though. I'm using Summer Splash because my shaded spruce actually had a glitch, and Stampin' Up! Is I figured it out yesterday. They gifted me a little coupon to use because they can't replace just one marker. So I have to invest in a set of new markers. I had a glitched marker, and so I can't show you with shaded spruce. But I recommend shaded spruce for this, even though I can't show it to you. We're going to take the Stampin' Write marker called Summer Splash, which is that light blue that we did the leaves with. We're going to pull off the cap. We're going to keep the cap near us, and we're going to take and kind of empty color into the cap. Now you can empty color ahead of time, but what you want to do is use that same side of your cap. So it's a flicking technique, and the marker ink, whether you're using a blends marker or whether you're using the Stampin' Write marker, the marker ink, the ink that comes off this part of your marker is actually sitting in the cap of the marker. Can you see it in there? And the more that you can get in there, the more that you can kind of fringe off of your brush tip, the more ink you'll be able to flick onto the surface of your card front. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can, yep, we've flicked some already. You can see little tiny spots of color on there. You don't have to do the inside section because we're not going to see that on the card. So I'm going to focus on going around the edges of my card, and it's working well. This is good. So my shaded spruce marker had a cap that was not tight. And I'm not sure why I never noticed that before, but maybe I just hadn't pulled out that marker to use yet. So now we have little flecks of color on there, and it looks better in person. You can see the actual bluish green hue of it in person. So we're going to set that aside to dry. You could even add, and as long as you're using the same side of your cap, see, that's where the marker ink is sitting. If you turn it, you have to get even more ink out, but we'll just keep it in that same spot where the pool of ink is. And we can even add flecks of color onto this layer. You can do flecks of color anywhere, but I do want to tell you that when you're doing this motion, over time, you're going to roughen up the tip of your marker. So it does wear on the tips of your markers. Can you see there's tiny little flecks here and there? All right, I'm going to cap that. I'm going to keep it in here though, because there's another end of the marker that we're going to use. Let's take and start layering all this stuff. This piece here, we're going to layer onto our card flat. So because it is embossed, I'm going to go ahead and use glue so that I'm not pressing against the bends in the paper. Okay, so I'm just going to go in here and use glue across here. In fact, you know what? I'm so used to my precision tip bottle that I forget. we have this end of the glue that you can take and squeeze glue out of. There we go. And you'll get a wider surface covered if you use that end. Okay, so let's just do that, and it helps to get on top of the raised surfaces on the back side here. Okay, got a little glue on my fingernail. So that way you can see what we've got here. We've got glue, and you can even spread it out. Like if you feel like there's an area that was too pooled up, you know, like it had too much glue, this is like a flattener, a spreader, you know what I mean? It spreads the glue away from your edges so that you're not gonna have seepage. So I guess I'd recommend that for 3D embossing folders so that you're not, again, flattening down what you've already embossed. So let's flip this over and let's add this to the front of our card, making sure we have an even white border all the way around, top, bottom, and the two sides. Now my finished card, I went and I made super fast because I was trying to share it with somebody quickly and forgot to do that. So this here is kind of pulling away because I didn't use glue. I used seal on the background layer and stuck it down. Okay, but now this will stay down nice and flat. The next layer is this one on top of this one, and you can use your seal for that. So if you don't want to get messy, you can just use seal adhesive, and you can add it like this to your card front, or to your layer. We're going to add that onto the card using some dimensionals, but I think before let's do it now. Let's do it now. Hello from Minnesota. Hi, Julaine. How are you? It's the best stamp. Do you have this background stamp? Forgot who it said. Yeah, Ellen said that. Tell me if you have either one of these stamps. How do you fill the tiny glue bottle? I actually have a video. So if you go to, again, my website, and you click on the shop drop-down menu and you go to my favorite extras and you see the precision tip glue bottle there, there is a link right next to that image that has a video of how to fill the glue bottle. The trick is not to let the glue hit the sides. All right, so now we're going to add that like this. And I didn't laugh because it's impossible. I laughed because I saw someone else's comment. It's possible. It just takes a while, okay? You just have to be patient with it as you fill it. And that way it doesn't come out over the top, okay? You've struggled with the Big Shot and have, okay, so yeah, shims, Heidi. Use shims. Adjust your layers, you know? Don't do as suggested if the Big Shot machine is not working for you with our 3D embossing folders. Okay, we have that layer on. Now you could stamp the inside of your card too before you actually put all this together. In fact, I'd recommend that, but I didn't, I forgot. You could do so happy to or hello on the front and then so happy to celebrate you on the inside, or thinking of you, or sending hugs, so happy to celebrate you, or so happy to celebrate you, hugs, you know what I mean? Like you could do all kinds of combinations with those words, okay? All right, next we go with this. So I'm going to take these pieces and we're going to add them in. The trick for this is to have a little area where you want to add adhesive. So I'm going to take another circle that is 2 inches and I'm going to cut about 1/8 of an inch in. I know I could use another circle punch if I wanted to, but if you only have a 2-inch circle punch and you don't have the 1 3/4 inch circle punch, because that's what I'm basically getting it down to, you just want to trim a smaller shape out of the shape that you're doing, out of the shape that you're using for your layer. So if I want my so happy to celebrate you to sit right here, right? I want to take and use the smaller piece and a pencil and kind of draw a little guideline here. This will help tell me where I can add adhesive. I can put adhesive in that spot. So as I'm sticking these leaves in place, I can get this full of adhesive. So I can either do it this way, put my adhesive in, and then build my leaves. I could have my leaves attached to this and then just stick it all down without worrying about penciling it in. I could take and tack this on with dimensionals and then tuck if my dimensionals are in certain spots. So let's say I want to have my leaves coming in like this and coming in like this. Okay, this is where they're going to go. And this is going to sit here. I could have a dimensional under this side and under here. Does that make sense? Because then you can do that tuck method. There's so many ways to do this. If I put my adhesive on here and then add my leaves are going to be raised when I put my dimensionals down. So, or you could just do it flat completely. Let's try it like this though. Let's take and do our precision tip bottle, adding just a thin line of glue with the precision tip, maybe a little bit in through here. So we have some glue on there. And actually I want to do this one first. I want to have the gold underneath. So let's just do that again. Got my adhesive just on the bottom portion here, and I'm going to hover this, and then I'm going to add it in here and stick it down. Now again, if you wanted to, this circle tip where you draw the pencil line is if you want to slather the whole thing with adhesive. So let's say I do that. Let's say I put some adhesive in here. I know how far I can go. I can't go beyond that circle. And so my next one would then sit right in here, right like that, okay? And I've got my adhesive where I know it can be without going outside that zone. Just showing you different ways that you can layer it up, I guess. Okay, so let's add another. This one's going to go a little further in so it looks shorter. So I'm going to hang that out here and stick it down like that. Okay, and then the last one we need to re-glue because right now the glue has dried and it's only temporary tacky glue. Now it's permanent because it's white. And we're going to add that right about here. So you can see this whole big mess of leaves. Now we can take and put dimensionals over sticky spots. There's a sticky spot. Okay, so just add your dimensionals within that circular area where you're also holding down some of the leaves, and you should be good to go in kind of keeping everything in a zone. All right, so I've covered my dimensionals only within that pencil line, and I've also put them on top of my leaves so that they stay even more secure in place, but they are flat to my card instead of being raised. Okay, and then we just take this and we look at the happy to, or the word celebrate, and as we tack that down in place, we're making sure that those lines of text are parallel to the top and bottom of the card. Don't look at the S on the word so. It throws you off because it's tilted. You want to look at the happy to celebrate, okay? All right, now we have an embellishment. I'm so excited about these embellishments. These are one of my favorites. We have dragonflies and we have birds, and it is the adhesive back dragonflies and birds. Let's pull out, we'll just pull out this sheet here. We're gonna hold our dragonfly in place. We're gonna get underneath one of the wings and we're gonna bend. Hold it in place, get underneath the wing and bend. We don't want a huge amount of bending, but we want it to be bent enough where we can lift it and have it look like there's a little bit of movement to that wing. Okay, and then that gets tacked in this spot here. You can add more dragonflies if you want to. You can bend up the wings even more if you want to while it's sitting here. That is the look I was going for. The Take Your Pick tool is also great for picking up embellishments. You just take and push and lift, and you can tack things down. That's why I had that one listed in the supplies. I hope that you enjoyed that card. This is the other card, the other version of it. Okay, and I want to tell you, remember I said at the beginning that I have put together that suitcase box? Here's the box. Remember we were working with this last week? Same thing I told you at the beginning. Bring these two tabs in, bring this over the top, get them locked in place, bring these side pieces in. Don't worry about these yet. Take this guy, tuck it within that little hole. It's going to flatten down like that. That's why you have the bends, the folds in those places, because you want it to fold down. And then this is where we got stuck. Remember I said, now what? You see this? There's a little gap in here. You're going to take that side and this side, and you're going to slide them into those spots. And now you have your suitcase box. I figured it out, seriously, a minute after I shut off the video, and I was so frustrated that I couldn't do it on the video. So I'm sorry, but I came back and I showed it to you, and I'm going to be featuring, because I already created a couple projects with these. Those will be in the members only live video at the end of the month. Okay, another thing I want to show you before we move on to prizes is, you guys know this kit? This is one of the newer kits that just debuted at the beginning of the month, and I'm making alternates with it. I am not going to do a video on this, but I'm going to have pictures of these cards Friday or Saturday of this week. Okay, so I decided not to go live on the 14th, which is in 2 days. My parents are coming into town. We're celebrating a birthday. Luke is turning 18. My youngest is turning 18. And so we're having family over, and they're coming on Friday. I thought, I'm not going to do a video. I'm taking time for my family. So I'm just going to have photos of these cards, and I'm going to try to explain them to you real quickly. So we have card bases. Let me grab the kit. It's back here. Okay, this is the kit. It's called So Much to Celebrate. You can see it makes 3 cards, 3 of each. When you're working with your pieces, you have a card base that looks like this. That one is going to get cut here and on the score line, and then in half here. And that will create this card and this card. You can see the layers are right there. One layer and the other layer. And then the inside is that square from the opposite side, okay? These words come in the kit, and you just stick those down, and these flower embellishments are the ones that are meant to go onto that style card right there. So I just use the same pieces but cut them in half. Okay, that's one card. Another style card, this one's not finished yet, is that done with this card base. So you take and cut 5.5 inches in this way. Okay, so 5.5 inches in, and then cut that in half, and that's how you get this 5.5 inch tall half circle or half oval type of layer. These are just extra foil thin lines that are added above the score lines just to give it a fun little accent. And then this is the best wishes that comes with the kit, but you also get it in all these other languages. So it comes without stamps. It's a non-consumable kit. So if you get multiples of these, you don't have to worry about throwing away tons of stamps. If you're in love with this kit, buy them up and keep making cards. I've tripled the cards in the kit. Okay, so you're making more than just double, you're tripling. Instead of 3 cards, you're getting 9. So instead of 9 cards, you're getting 27. All right. So this is the one that's in English. The one underneath is flipped over in another language. And then I just propped it up on dimensionals. But for this one here, I felt like this area was lacking. So I took a couple of the flower layers and I trimmed them up, and I'm going to stick them into these spots. But first I have to stamp this with another stamp because I don't speak other languages. So I'm going to stamp it with another stamp from some set that I find in my stash, maybe layering leaves, I don't know. Put that here, and then that will get propped up on dimensionals and have the same similar type of look. So I'm almost done with these cards. Have I made scrapbooking layout with these kits? I haven't. I haven't done a scrapbooking layout with the Kids Collection kits, only with Paper Pumpkin. But I've been playing around with the scrapbooking kits. All right, so then we move on to, and I've made scrapbook pages with them and cards, but I haven't made scrapbook pages from the Kids Collection yet. You just put a thought into my head. Okay, that's this card base now. Same idea where you cut 5.5 inches in, trim it, then cut that in half, and now you have those 2 layers. What do you do with this extra stuff? Those become inside layers for cards, okay? So this is another language flipped over. I'm going to add those with sentiments. These are little layering flower pieces from the kit. And then again, a strip of gold foil. So I'm adding gold foil instead of like a stick-on embellishment. Then we have cards that are made from the envelopes. Where are my envelopes? So you have an envelope that looks like this, and like this, and this one, okay? So you have 3 envelopes, and those are gonna make these 3 cards. So that's how you get the triple. You turn the envelopes into a card. So here's that with some extra floral embellishments, because I didn't think that you needed to use all those flowers on the other pieces. Again, more sentiment pieces that I'm going to turn into like little added words here and there, accent of gold foil. Another one, words on this side instead. And then this is my skinnier envelope. And I'm going to put that here with another flower piece. I actually have a fold line underneath these gold strips, because you can see that it goes to there. So there's where the crease is in the paper. I opened up the 2 sides, pulled the thing all the way open, and cut it so that you had the fold line in there. And you just cover it up with the gold strip. And then again, the insides are the card pieces, the layers that we cut off the cards, the other side of the envelope. All right, hopefully this video explains it enough. If you have questions when I post on my blog on Friday, please just respond in the comments section. Let me know what questions you have. And I'll have them all finished by then and photographed, and then I'll just refer to this video for the tips. And I'm also going to add those cute little puffy ladybugs on there too, because they're so cute, right? Are we ready for prizes? Let's do prizes. So for prizes, let me pull up the list of what we had last week. Last week we had prize winners winning tutorial of choice because we had, hang on a minute, deleting something. We had featured the All-Star group. And so a couple people, I think it was Cindy and Lynn, were called out for the live winners. So these are the people that still have to claim prizes, okay? And I'm going back a whole month. So tutorial of choice also goes to last month. We had Don Pomerang. You haven't gotten back to me yet. Denise Swenson. And I know I can reach out to some of you because some of you I contact, but please reach out to me at my email address, because it's much easier for me than to go and search you out, and it's fair to everybody else that you claim your prize, right? So Don Pomerang, Denise Swenson, Peggy Frost-Brandon, and Lynn Brandt, you all have a tutorial of choice coming to you. Then we have these people who have a celebration pick coming to them. Again, email me to claim your prize. We have Torbaker 5900. We have Denise Willerton, Diane Deshane 9300. Okay, and then we also had some people, 2 people, Jill Good and Janet Rose, who had envelopes and embellishment type of prize. So please reach out to me. Okay, now that I've called out past names and you only get a month to claim your prize, we're going to talk about the prizes for this time. Rachel, look at all those layering leaf stamp sets you have. I know, right? I have a lot because I don't ever want them to go away. So I'm giving some away for prizes this time. So we're gonna call out a couple winners for these. Trisha will call out winners for a layering leaf stamp set. If you already have it, I do have a couple embossing folders that you can choose from instead. The Twisted Rope or the Softly Sophisticated. Okay, so Trisha's gonna call out prize winners. I'm gonna call out past prize winners for tutorial of choice. We're probably gonna do them both at the same time. Because I didn't plan that well. All right, so while she is working on those names, here is the winner, Pauline Turner, 6502. You are the winner from YouTube. After live comments, you get to have a tutorial of choice. And then on Facebook from, ads. Facebook from after live comments, or during the live, I should say, because it's both for Facebook. We have Patty Bidney. So you are both get to choose a tutorial of your choice, okay? And then let me go over to my computer and see if Trisha has chosen winners yet. Not quite yet on my screen. So she's going to call out 2 winners for the Layering Leaves stamp set or embossing folder if you already have Layering Leaves. And I'll put those names hopefully on the screen so you can see them. I do want to mention that YouTube is where I'm going to be going to exclusively come March. And so when that happens, I want you all on Facebook to join us on YouTube. It's very easy. It's free. Please start learning YouTube. I have links to the YouTube channel every time, so you can go over there. I'm still not seeing it up on this screen, although I saw her name. There they are. Okay. Yay! Mary Jean Kuipert and Rebecca Smithwick. Congratulations to both of you. You got the random drawing of your name, so yay. Make sure that you reach out to me at stampyourartout@comcast.net. I'm going to go ahead and take those comments out of here for a minute. Congratulations. Yes, Vicki, you guys are so sweet. Look at all these nice comments coming up. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Good to see you too. Congrats to the winners. Oh my gosh, there we go. We're going to take them off now. Not quite yet. I'm trying to get rid of the comments, but they keep appearing. That's because you guys are so much full of love. It's great. You're so giving with your congrats and your hugs and emojis. I love the emojis. Thank you to those of you who came to this video live. I appreciate you. I hope you had fun. Remember that the blog post will go live at 12:15, which is just in about 15 minutes or so. And you can go over there and you can see the video, you can get the PDF, you can get the visual supply list there, the measurements are written again, all of that good stuff. And you can purchase from me if you'd like. If you'd like to purchase from me, every $60 order right now through the end of the month is going to earn a free celebration item. I have featured those in past lives, so make sure that you're checking those out if you haven't yet. Also, don't forget the marker deal, but you have to get the starter kit to get the 2 free packs of markers, plus you get an exclusive stamp set. I mean, all the goodness happens in the starter kit. So what else do I need to say? Oh, the next set of lives. Okay. And also give a big thanks to Trisha and Lisa. They are amazing. The next set of lives, we have February 18th, which will be the next one at 11 a.m. I'm going to feature hopefully the Paper Pumpkin Kit if I get it in time. If not, it'll be something completely different. Show and share will be on Friday, February 21st. Send me your cards and projects so I can feature them. And thank you. They're rolling in. It's so fun to see what everybody is sharing. Reach out to me if you can't find my address. I will definitely, just email me and I will send it to you so you can send me that. And then we have February 26th, which is a Wednesday, February 28th, which is YouTube supporter members only. And then going into March, we have the 5th and the 8th. So thank you. You guys are amazing. I love you. Don't forget to give the thumbs up, click like, all that fun stuff, and we will see you on the next live. Take care, everybody. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.